About that time, I looked up over this berm out of the trench line up towards Nuyon Hill, and it was probably a mile away itself. And it looked like little ants or lava coming down off that hill, and I thought, there's a lot of people up there. I hear a call for a medic up over the top of this berm. So I looked up over there, and I thought I saw two men over in a bush. I jumped up, got as low as I could, headed towards those bushes, and two of the men from the first squad had made their way without their weapons into these bushes. About that time, a rocket-propelled grenade came in and hit behind me. I don't know how close behind me, but it pelted me from head to foot, and it stung really bad. But I didn't pay too much attention to it because I was focused on these two guys. And I went over and I couldn't see any wounds on them or anything, but they wouldn't move. They were frozen in place. And I dragged those two men. You'd be surprised how strong you can get when you get scared. And anybody says they're not scared. I'm still focused, but I know that I'm in a dangerous situation. I dragged them across that berm and into that trench line. I heard combat medic, and so I went out probably 4 or 5 more times. We finally got a medevac in, and we're putting people on the medevac. And the lieutenant, company commander, says, "Get on, Doc." Well, then I remembered I'd gotten hit by a rocket-propelled grenade, and I looked down and saw my blood all over me. I said, "Well, I'm not going." And he looked at me with puzzled. He said, "Why not? You're going to need me." That's all I said. I thought by telling him that I wasn't getting on, that I spent my last day on earth. But I'd rather be dead in a rice paddy than alive in a hospital and find out that one of my men, one of my brothers, was killed because I wasn't there.
At sunrise, the battle paused, but resumed again that evening. Like the night before, McLuhan was repeatedly called to tend to wounded soldiers and carry them through the crossfire to relative safety. The company was down to just 32 men and running short on ammunition. At one point amid the chaos, McLuhan made a bargain.
All of a sudden, a thought came out of nowhere. It had been since I was a small boy that I told my father that I loved him. You didn't do that. You didn't tell your brothers you loved them. Dads didn't tell sons, and sons didn't tell dad. And I had a conversation with the Lord. And I said, "Lord, if you get me out of this hell on earth so I can look my father straight in the eye just one more time and tell him